Peace, y'all, and welcome into another tea time. You already know the vibes, divine destiny. What you sipping on? I'm sipping on tea today. Hey, hey. It is, my own blend. I stay with the boiling the water with the lemons and the limes. But we added some cuties in here today, and there's some hibiscus, and then I put some extra love in there with some some ginger, some honey, some turmeric, some peppers, and cinnamon. So it's really a vibe today. Anyway, grab what you need to vibe with me, okay? You grab your drink, grab your tea, grab your water, grab your coffee, grab your blanket, grab your vibe, whatever it is you need to dive into this tea time with your girl today, because we on today, okay? So today's tea time is brought to you by the Cabala, I guess. But we're not getting too deep into it. You could say the Kabbalah, but also like yin and yang, just the principles of polarity, right? But I say the Kabbalah because I was watching a video that was like diving into it and like the left hand and the right hand path, and then also the middle path. And Spirit was like, we need to go talk about that. Like every time I can only talk about my own personal experiences. So here we go. All right. So I guess we can discuss the Kabbalah a little bit, but I'm really referencing the Kabbalah, the tree of life, right? How it has the left side and the right side, and then the path in the middle. The same thing for the yin and yang, right? It has the left side, the dark side, the right side, the light side, and then both light and dark in the middle, right? Same thing, same energy, right? Right path is going to be your light energy, right? Your left path is going to be your dark energy. And we're going to discuss what that looks like for me in my life, right? So, I guess we can begin at the beginning, the orientation of my own spiritual journey, right? Just like life in general, I would say in the beginning of my life, I was on, but the beginning of my life is in my adult life, right? Like I'm not counting adolescence because you're kind of under the thumb of your parents and their moral standing, religious views and all of that, right? But once you become an adult and you transition out of that, then that's when you really get to form your own opinions and your own moral standing and your own religious viewpoints or spiritual viewpoints or whatever it might be for you personally, right? So when I say younger years, I'm talking 18, give or take, to probably 23 to 25. Okay. Now that we got that out, okay. So I would definitely say in my younger years, my younger 20s, I was very much in my left hand path and not even in the spiritual sense, right? Like a lot of people think of left hand path is witchcraft and voodoo and rituals and you out here just the occulting and mystifying all over the place, which is not wrong, but you could do the same on the right hand path too. Okay, so when I'm saying I was on the left hand path, I'm solely looking at this from a shadow light energy, right? So I was on my left hand path, I was in my shadow body in my beginning stages of spirituality, right? Just because the shadows that you pick up that you accumulate throughout your life from my youth to my 20s, right, had developed my own shadows. So even though I was trying to begin a spiritual journey, trying to understand myself more intrinsically with the world around me, I was still very much so operating from the shadow energies that I had accumulated or cultivated within myself or from my environment, that just kind of, you're operating subconsciously, right? You're operating from an unconscious subconscious, and that subconscious is operating off of the traumas, the beliefs, the cycles that you have already experienced thus far, right? So all of my like early 20s was very much so me living out my shadows and dancing with the devil a lot. Okay, in whatever way, shape, or form that looked like for me. But one thing I can tell you is whenever I was dancing with the devil, I always knew I was in the dance. Okay, you know when you're doing some things you ain't supposed to do. You know when you're connecting with somebody who's not good for you, who's not on alignment with your highest self, especially if you are called and chosen. Okay, and it doesn't matter if you have answered the call or not. Okay, there is something internally in your spirit that is like an inner compass, an inner dial that you cannot get rid of, okay? That it just knows like this is it, even in alignment with my highest good self or purpose, but it feels good right now and I'm in it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I was at. That was the left-handed path, just like fully feeding the ego, fully giving into my own inhibitions, okay, fully giving into and feeding and fueling my shadows and my demons and allowing them to run rampant upon life, okay, child. And then I would say shifting over, it's like two extremes, okay, shifting over, and I was like, okay, now I've learned from dancing with the devil, right? I've learned what feeding and fueling and just allowing my shadows to run, my demons to run. I learned what that looked like in life. And what that looked like, okay, was depression, anxiety, and like covert depression, covert anxiety. I'm one of those people. I in my shadow self was one of those people that like I said, I was dancing with the devil and I knew very well like I'm around people or engaging in activities and things that are not in alignment with who I am called to be or how I am called to show up into this world. However, this feels safe for me right now. This feels comfortable right now because of like past programming or what I believed I deserved or whatever, right? Whatever reasoning behind whatever action or influence, okay? Um, Once I learned like what that really put me in energetically, and it took me a long time to realize like this is why I feel like this because I continue to play out a cycle mentally, emotionally, physically, even that doesn't fully resonate or align with me, right? Because I can tell you, like, back in the day, like early 20s, right? I've always known that I carried a light within myself. I've always known like I am destined for greatness and I'm gonna get there, right? But I also was very comfortable with my environment, with the people and the energies around me. And so even though like they weren't in alignment with where it is I saw myself in the future, a part of me felt like either I had to stay down with them to be, part of the crew. Like I didn't want to be acting brand new. Now it's like written in plastic, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't want to be like viewed as like acting brand new or like switching up or like, you know what I'm saying? Even though spiritually and energetically, I very much was switching up. I very much was brand new, okay? A whole new person energetically and spiritually, like had gone through the fire spiritually, and my physical had not yet reflected that because I was holding on to it so hard. But like once you get so far into the flames of your phoenix, right, into your transformation, once you get so far into the flames of alchemy, your physical, it has no choice but to like pick up and represent the transformation and the changes and the shifts that have occurred within you, right? So there I was, because yes, while I was in this left-handed path dancing with my shadows, I was still doing inner work, right? Dancing with the devil and like feeding my demons, right? Was very much also equipping me with the lessons and the understandings that, like, oh, these are demons. Oh, that's a shadow aspect of myself. Oh, I learned that. That's a trauma response, right? Like, I'm learning myself as I'm dancing with the devil, right? So I don't at all like disregard or feel like no regrets, okay, for that situation or those energies or those experiences, because they taught me how to be the light body that I stepped into, right? So then I would say from like 23, that's when I had like really pivotal rock bottom moment for myself personally, right? And so that's when like I really started to shift into the light body of it all, right? And I would say 23 is when I started to shift into like making videos and content and just like openly expressing myself spiritually, which allowed me to like radiate that light, which allowed me to live in that light body more. But then it was like a full polarity shift. Like I was in my shadows, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go over here to the light, actually, F all of the shadows. But in that, it was like I was trying to not to face the shadows with the light. Does that make sense? I was trying to focus so much on the light that I couldn't see the shadows anymore. Right? I was trying to put on a mask of that like love and light energy of spirituality that a lot of us fall into, right? And it worked for a while, but like you can only fake it till you make it so fucking far. You know what I'm saying? So eventually it's like, okay, so you're standing in this light and it's shining. The only way to fully embody it, to be it authentically and fully, is to now turn that light on these shadows and clear it all the fuck up. Okay. Oh my God, you guys. So that's what I did. So that's what I did. And like moving into the right-handed path of just like, for me personally, it was like spirituality and yoga and meditation, blah blah blah, and everything is good, blah blah blah. And leaning too far into that also led me into an energy of depression and anxiety. Covert depression, covert anxiety, because I'm smiling, I'm hee ha ha, loving life, but then I go home and I'm sad. My soul isn't fulfilled or happy because I'm running away from the parts of my shadow that needed to be integrated to do anything with, right? So once I got far enough into my life body, once again, rock bottom, rock bottom. And this was like a bottom I had never been before, right? Because it was like, oh, I'm leaning into the light so much. Like I didn't just go into the light, Carol Ann down here, right? But like the shadows are still following me, right? So I can only go into the light so far with the shadows still clinging on to me. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, like they're gonna pull hard enough, so I'm gonna have to turn around and face them. And that's exactly what the fuck happened. Okay. So then I had to turn around and I had to face my shadows and I had to actually do the healing work, actually do the integrating work, actually do the shadow work to turn the light that I was presenting and stepping in, living in, shining as, turn it inward, turn it into the shadows that I was so desperately trying to run from. And in that, it allowed me to come into balance, to come into that middle path. Oh my God. And that's the magical sweet spot, right? And I say that because on both ends, and I was on both ends, baby, the shadow and the light, okay? I was on both ends, both polarities, both extremes. And both of them can pull you into spiritual psychosis, okay? And just like real physical psychosis. Do you know what I'm saying? Like either one can lead you into a place of destruction, of chaos, of depression, of anxiety if you're not actually balance, which is what that middle path is for, right? That middle path integrates the shadows, integrates the light, right? It's very much, I would say, like it gives, like, for me personally, Lilith, dark feminine energy, but the same thing could be said for masculine energies, right? Excuse me, it's very much you in that middle path, you're in that dark masculine, you're in that dark feminine, and like there is nothing wrong when you say dark, people like automatically, like, ooh, ooh, everything came in the dark. Bitch, we started in the dark. That's another conversation for another day, okay? But that dark energy, that dark path, and you know what? Like it's like dark and divine meet each other and coexist, that dark feminine, that dark masculine, because you found that integration between the shadow, between the left hand, and the integration between the right hand have come to the middle in this left hand path, and now they're coalescing. Now it's a dance, not with your devils, not with your demons, but with your highest self. You feel me? You found that level of balance, and you recognize that both energies are needed. Your shadows are needed just as much as your light, for your elevation, for your progression, for your healing. You need both, right? My shadow side, very much so, is the protective energy of my light side. And my light side, very much so, is the parental figure of my shadow side. That might not be true for everybody. That's for me personally, right? We learn to parent ourselves, reparent ourselves, right? We learn to protect ourselves in ways that sometimes people couldn't even show up to protect us, right? Especially as children. So now my shadow side is that protector, right? And now my light side is that parent. Like, let's keep it cute. But my shadow side is that the angel and the devil, and you're in the middle. Hello? There's a reason they depict things like that. The angel and the devil and the angel, the left and the light and the dark. And then you're in the middle, the conscious driver of it all, the intentional, intuitive driver of it all. Okay. And I guess I'm here to share this message just to say, if you're too far in your left hand, if you're too far in your right hand, okay, find some way to integrate in the middle. Okay. Find your way to bring it back, right? Either you're too far in your shadow, you're so deep in the depths of your shadows you can't see any light, or you're so far in your light, you're trying to be so bright in the light that you can't see your shadows anymore. When in reality, the only thing that's going to actually bring those into balance to where you're not chasing one and one is not chasing you is for you to come into balance with yourself, full integration with all parts. That that middle path is the path, right? And yin and yang, right? If you're looking at it like it has the white side and the black side, and then the white is in the middle of the black, and the black is in the middle of the white, because you need that balance. You need those balancing points. So that's exactly what it is. Those balancing points to bring everything into equilibrium. Oh my God. Do what you need to do to get your integration in order. I literally do this for a living. Okay, if you like this video, share it with somebody you love. Okay, everything you need from me is in the description box below. So if you are having a hard time integrating those shadows coming together in that middle path, get your girl up. Okay, until next time, stay divine.